Hey there. Disregard what I'm looking like because I'm looking like trash. I'm on my way to the store, but y'all don't care about that. Let's talk about... trying to decide which one I want to talk about. Let's talk about... I'm reserving my big opinions on Tamar. So what I'm going to do is only talk about this debacle from last night / this morning. So the Queen Supreme Court, it feels so weird to be talking about this again. It's no shade to the show. Y'all know I love the show. It's just, and I explained this before, but I haven't explained it on camera. Reviewing the Queen Supreme Court was real cool. It was one of my favorite videos to do. But, after Kaya and Maddie fell out, it ain't the same. And I'm not saying the show's not good. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying with Madison and Kaya, you know what two personalities you're gonna get every week. You know what's finna go on. You know, Madison loves her props and her, her antics and, her carrying on. And, Kaya loves to talk crazy, and give fever, verbal fever. Like, that's the two personalities you're going to get. With the Queen Supreme Court, with the rotating panel of judges, especially with them being, a lot of them being YouTubers, a lot of them being, Instagram celebrities and Facebook, social media influencers, it feels very judgy for me to watch the show and come on here and talk about what I do and don't like about their actual personalities. Because as somebody who gets on this camera all the time and often has to deal with people being mad at me. People have gone off on me about Shaka Khan doing drugs. When I say Shaka Khan does drugs, because we all know Shaka Khan does drugs. I had, folks going off on me about that. Giovanni Jackson, my thoughts on the timing of her book and how she, I'm not even finna do the Giovanni thing. People are still, on a daily basis, snapping on me over Giovanni Jackson, of all girls. I mean, so it's just knowing what I know as someone who does get on camera and does speak on things. It just doesn't feel right to me to talk about certain people's personalities. As far as what I liked about how the show went and stuff, it feels very judgy to me because it's a rotating thing, and it's just they not even gonna be there next week. So I'm gonna get on here, I'm gonna say, oh, I hated this or I love this about this person. They're not even gonna be there. It's like I've judged them for no reason. So I bowed out of talking about the Queen's Court regularly, but I am popping in for this. I know I've gone all around the world to talk about this, but it feels a little more comfortable knowing how big a YouTuber Funky Dineva is and having been watching him for 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years. I'm not even sure. It's been a long, probably about 7 years, because I was still in high school when I was watching Funky Dineva. So knowing how big a personality he is and knowing that we pretty much all know his personality, he's not one of the smaller YouTubers that I feel like if I say something about him, it's going to get back to him and it's going to make or break him. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about the people that have been on. I'm just saying that if the day comes, I don't want to be in a position to have to do that. But anyway, so Funky Dineva was on the Queen's Supreme Court. And, they did their topics. The topic of Tamar Braxton came up. Now, y'all ain't heard me say diddly squat about Tamar. And she's been out here, doing all that she's been doing. She's been here, there, everywhere, nowhere. Wendy Williams, Iyanla, she's been all over. And I've decided to reserve my personal thoughts on Tamar and her press kit, her media marketing for after I see Iyanla. After I watch the Iyanla episode, I think it's an episode of Braxton Family Values and not an episode of Iyanla. But after I watch that, it'll be in the next week. I think the episode is airing like the 26th or 27th. After I watch that, then I'm going to come to you with everything that I feel about all that Tamar has going on. Because y'all already know I canceled Wendy Williams, so you know that moment alone is going to be something. But the Queen Supreme Court was talking about her. Okay, let me tell you where I think it went wrong, and where I think messy people in your life are good for some things and bad for some things. They were talking about the the Tamar Braxton situation, and what was brought up on the docket, I believe, was her having a new man, saying she's in love, all of this. Funky Dineva being Funky Dineva, being that same, comedian that went out to Chateau Sheree's house with a dildo in her hand, reporting the news about how the house ain't built and all. Same girl. So we know Funky. I mean, if you're new to Funky Dineva, then maybe you don't know, but we know Funky Dineva's comedy. We know that, Funky Dineva is going to give us just off the rip, and it's hard. It's hard for a lot of people because, Funky Dineva's been going into Quentin, who is the man behind the character, and he's been doing a lot of videos as Quentin and giving you more wiser commentary, just regular, not my hair is laid, like, awareness or whatever, all that carrying on that Funky Dineva does, and Tony Mama and my neighbor's husband, all that carrying on. He's been putting a lot of that to the side and giving you Quentin. So for the people who have been, around for a year, maybe 2 years, that are relatively new, that haven't gone back and done the research, don't know how Quentin can sometimes give you Funky Dineva's comedy in a way that bites. I feel like I'm ranting and rambling, but this is Rambling Kate, so this is what we're doing today. I really wanted to give you a more concise, this is what it is, but I don't have that to do today, apparently. My brain ain't working like that today. Where I feel like it went into the lane of messiness, where I feel like this is where somebody, probably James Wrong Chanel, texted Tamar and was like, so listen, these queens are over here and they're doing too much and they're talking about you. Where I think that was misconstrued is when they brought Tamar on the docket and they started talking about the love and the carrying on that she's, supposedly feeling for this new man. And Funky Dineva took that, ran with it, and said that, we should have brought her up on the docket for a horrible hairstyle, for her knees, calves, and ankles all being the same size, and, was just going off much like I do. Much like I do. I do that all the time, and it's off topic. It really don't have nothing to do with nothing, but, sometimes I get in my bag and feel like, what, I'm a drag somebody. I do it with Kelly Price every single day of my life. Every single day of my life. I think about how I cannot stand Kelly Price as a person. I love her as a musician. She can sing down. I was listening to Heartbreak Hotel in the shower just last night, singing with Kelly Price. Because, Kelly Price, Whitney Houston and Faith Evans are on that song. And, Whitney and Faith are my mothers. Kelly is the devil. But, sometimes your mama links up with the devil and you just got to pray them out of that situation. But, it's the same thing to me is what I'm saying. Is I feel like that's where it went wrong. I'm not saying that Quentin or Funky Dineva was wrong, but I'm saying that's where it went wrong. And what I would not have done was brought up the sexual harassment at all. And I don't remember who brought it up or how it came up. I think Quentin/Funky brought it up himself by saying, full stop, hard stop, let me take away these comedic moments and let me be serious right quick, and let me say that, being molested is not funny, it's not a game, it's not a joke, and doing this little PSA. But where it gets misconstrued is that he gave his PSA, and then he would go immediately right back into cracking jokes about her appearance, go right back into cracking jokes about, her being in love with this man she'd been dating for 3 months. This little piece of hair here, see, granddaughter, you've got to go. I must leave you now, for it is written, and it must be so. I must go home. That's old Clock Sisters. That's not even the Clock Sisters. That's their mama, Maddie Mouse Clock, featuring Twanky. But anyway, that's where I feel like it got real sketchy. It was a matter of, I'm going to crack these jokes, but let me get serious right quick and let you know, molestation is no joke, it's do. But back to these jokes, and while she was giving you the serious moments, the people in the background were still cackling at the jokes cracked prior and the jokes soon to be cracked. So you have Funky Dineva giving you, look, it ain't no joke. Molestation is not funny. We don't play games about that. But then you have the background, the gallery giving, he said she need a water pill. Her knees and her head, shoulders, knees and toes all the same size, and she's shaped like a brick. I can't, you hear that in the background while he's giving you, this is not funny. And that's my brand of comedy, is a brand of comedy where I'm going to give you time to get your cackles out. I'm going to give you time, I told this joke. I know it was funny. I'm not going to laugh with you because I'm just not that girl. But I'm going to let you laugh. Laughter, applause. Yes. Okay, let's bring this down just a minute and let me tell y'all, molestation is not funny. I don't play games with that. Do. And then I make a hard, because he made the hard stop. He said, hard stop, molestation's not funny. For me, it would have been, and now back to the comedy. Because there was a hard stop about the molestation not being funny, but then it just kind of eased right on back into the comedy. And then another hard stop, where I feel like the hard stop should be, hard stop, this ain't funny. Hard stop, let me get back to making y'all laugh. And I really feel like the back and forth, the fluctuation of it, made it where somebody was messy. I feel like it was James Wrong Chanel. His spirit is bad to me. His spirit ain't never blessed me. When he came out with the video talking about the pies and everybody was sharing it and it was everywhere, I said, I can't do this, young man. They shared that video all over. People was all over getting pies. They brought pies into my home. I ain't never had a patty pie. And it's not necessarily because I don't like James Wright Chanel like that. That's a part of it. Something about him just ain't right to me. I look at him and my spirit turns off. There are some people that I look at and there's an immediate shutdown in my soul where it's just like, no, I'm not able to do. And it's not because he's ugly, because he's a little bit ugly, but it's not because he's ugly. It's just I see him and my spirit and his spirit does not align, and my spirit just doesn't allow me even to fool with it. It doesn't even allow me to fool with it. And that's kind of where we're getting with Tamar, but we're not talking. I'm going to tell y'all about that after I watch the Iyanla show. But I feel like James Wrong Chanel or somebody, we don't know Tamar to have friends. Not a lot of friends. The way she just completely flipped and turned on Kevin and Mikhail, we don't know her to have, because that's Kevin and Mikhail and James Wright Chanel are like the only people that I can say outside of her sisters that I saw Tamar in contact with constantly, regularly, and was comfortable enough to say, oh, they're probably friends. Other than that, I don't see Tamar with no friends, but also I don't be checking for Tamar, so there's that. But somebody called, text, emailed, sent a homing pigeon over to Tamar and let her know, these niggas laughing at your pain. And instead of being a rational 40-something-year-old adult woman or a 20-something-year-old, because I'm nearly, what am I? I'm about 15, 16 years younger than Tamar Braxton. I'm 24. I think she's like 42, 41, 40. Tony is 50, so she's got to be coming up on 41 if she's not 41 already, because Tony is about to be 51, and they're 10 years apart. So I, as an adult woman, as an adult woman who was raised a lot like Tamar was. I was raised in the church, church from dusk till dawn. They discouraged pants. I wore them anyway because, girl, I'm not going to be that girl. But anyway, the point remains. As an adult woman, I would have said, well, what was said? What was said about me? Can you point me to what was said? They said it on camera. Well, let me look at it right quick and see what's going on, see how mad I'm going to be, or if I'm going to be mad at all. I'm a what was said hoe. I have friends who have come to me and been like, well, girl, they was talking about you. And I immediately go into what was said. And they, oh, well, I don't want to tell you. Well, you've already told me they were talking about me, so now you're going to have to tell me what was said. Because I'm not going to sit here, you trying to rile me up, you trying to make me mad by telling me these people were talking about me knowing I don't like them. Go ahead and let me know what they said. Because talking about you don't mean nothing. I be talking about folks all the time. I'm talking about my mama when I say, girl, my mama cooked some mean macaroni last night, honey. It was delicious. It was everything. And, and she pop up, we're like, girl, we was just talking about you. Talking about doesn't mean anything. That's a whole different, talking about you is not enough to just off rip. It's not for me enough to get mad. But what was said, when we get into what was said, and it's, girl, she said, only thing I get mad about is lies. One instance I can remember, one of my acquaintances at this point was working with my family. I don't fool with this family like that. Family was going around telling folks some things about me. Acquaintance comes over, says, girl, they was talking about you. Me. Okay, what was said? And I don't even be mad when I ask, because you got to get me to a place where I'm mad. What was said, girl? What they say? They said you was on drugs and you do. Okay, so now we're lying. Now I have liberty to be upset. Now I have the liberty to be mad. Other than that, I'm not going to waste my time being angry with you. If it was, girl, they was talking about you. Okay, what was said? They said, you light-skinned and you love your hair to be red and purple. I mean, yeah. I'm not going to be mad about that. I could be annoyed that they're talking about me, but being mad makes no sense. So anyway, I'm running all around the point, babies. I'm so sorry. I'm going through a lot. I'm super depressed, and I don't know what it's about, aside from the fact that we coming up on, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that is the worst time of the year for me. I hate it. I wish I could just sleep straight through it, but it's on the way. My only solace is we got to get to Halloween before we can get to them other ones. But anyway, so we in the after show. The girls are eating, they fixing their plates, and chef was back there, being tall and light-skinned, and fucking that even done took a wig off and is giving you Quentin, but with a beat face, and Maddie is giving you, girl, I'm hungry, I'm gonna sit here and eat this food, and we just having a good time. We cackling, Daniva was kind of on my nerves a little bit, as far as, girl, you got 7 minutes and I'm gonna retire to bed. And it's like, well, you came out here, you knew this was a late night show. We all have the understanding that this is, after hours, where people have moaned and complained, murmured. When I was working, a regular job and waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I would be on, aggravated because the show started so late. Like, we all have an understanding that it's a late night show, and the after show is even later. So that kind of got on my nerves. But they, ain't talking to me. They look like my granddaddy, but it's not. Better not be out here with this mysterious woman. No, that ain't my granddaddy. Because, I cut a nigga, granddaddy or not. Anyway, we having a good time. We slapping fives. We eating honey, collard greens, yams, cabbage, chicken, fish, all sorts of delicious foods. Just having a wonderful time. And we hear, I hear, what's her name? Lord, Madison, Jesus. I'm sorry, there's a lot going on out here. And you got to be watchful. I done come down here to the hood. I had to run in here to the store. But you got to keep your eyes open. You got to be vigilant. Anyway, I hear Maddie say, well, Tamar down here reading you, Daniva. And it's just like, what? Apparently, Tamar had got down in the comments and asked T.S. Madison what her ashy friend was saying about her being molested. That's where you lose me, because the what was said should have gone to the person who told you in the first place. They on here talking about you. So you lost me, because, girl, I'm not going to walk to the person and ask what was said if I'm not already. I ask niggas what was said when they've been talking about me disparagingly. I walk up to them and I already know what was said. So I be like, so what was said? That's when I do that. But she had no information. She just walked over there and what was your ashy friend? Now listen, I was watching a Funky Dineva video yesterday before all of this went on. And Quentin raised his hand and it was ashy. And I was like, ooh, you need Dineva get some lotion. So that's not out of the realm. It's not, unheard of that Dineva's ashy. Dineva's been ashy on plenty of videos. Dineva gets on video ashy sometimes. We're not going to act like that's not a truth. We're not going to act like that. So I feel like the immediate just going off Dineva did, I feel like it was a little rushed as well. But I feel like it was rushed because here comes Tamar with, being misinformed and just popping in with anger. So anyway, here go Dineva going off on Tamar. To me, everybody was like, Dineva read Tamar, read her down, read. And I'm like, he said a lot of the same things he said on the show. I mean, no shade. She was read, yes, but he said a lot of things that was said on the show. Her knees, ankles, and calves are all the same size was the main thing that he reiterated. And he said that during the live show. So I'm, I don't know if people look. I don't know if people just aren't receiving reads in their real lives. I live a life of reads. My family reads. I read. All of my friends, well, all but one, bless her heart, we love her down. She don't read, but the majority of my friends read, drag, clock constantly. I get text messages all day long, like, girl, you ain't that girl you think you are. And it's out of love. It's out of love. It's really just honing our skills, making sure we are ready when somebody actually does come for us, and making sure we have a thick enough skin. Can't nobody come at me and tell me I'm light skinned and got acne. Can't nobody drag me about that. Girl, I'm light skinned and got acne. If I'm a black queen and you're a black queen, we can't call each other black queens. That's not a read, it's just a fact. So I don't know. It didn't feel like a dragging to me watching that. It just felt like Dineva was annoyed. But anyway, Dineva went off, and everybody was cackling. Dineva kept coming back, and it got on my nerves because at a point Dineva got back on the screen. It was like, you need to Maddie. And you could see already that Maddie is like, her mood has completely flipped. She was having a good time. She was enjoying her food and all of this. And at a point she kept saying, I can't win for losing. And it's like, why does all this keep going on? Leave Madison alone. Madison don't bother nobody. Madison don't bother nobody. She makes her little jokes, and it's all very obviously in good fun. The meanest thing I can think of her making jokes about is like 50 Cent being gay. But like, girl, we make jokes about that kind of thing all the time. It's not, I don't know. It really got on my nerves though, that Maddie's whole mood, and I know that life because my moods drop like that in an instant. I be minding my business and all of a sudden it's like, girl, somebody come at me with foolishness and it's just like, I don't even want to do this no more. I'm finna go to bed. And that's how I feel. The energy that Maddie was giving off, and she was taking calls, and you know, it just kind of affected her performance, talking to the audience. It was just like, yeah, hey, how you doing? You know, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. And it got on my nerves when Dineva got back on the screen. It was like, you need to open your mouth and tell Tamar I didn't say nothing about you. And it's like, but you've already told Tamar that. You told Tamar that. Maddie said that she didn't really remember all that was said. But she didn't say that you dragged her, because she did say at one point, well, you did talk about, her knees and her haircut and this, that, and the other. And it's just like, it's not Maddie's obligation to get on this camera and tell Tamar that you didn't say nothing about her, especially after you already did. Because you need to open your mouth and tell her, Funky Dineva didn't say nothing about her. And I'm just like, that worked my nerves just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, I'm still a big fan of Funky Dineva. Funky Dineva has said and done a couple things that get on my nerves. He always talking about light-skinned folks, and I just cut the video off because it's just like, I really don't like the divisiveness. But all in all, I still ride for Funky Dineva. I still love Funky Dineva. Just like I still love Tamar, I still love Madison. I'm not picking a team here. I'm just praying for Tamar because I'm at my wits' end. I'm at my wits. But the whole big to-do just felt like Tamar hopped on misinformed. It was on my nerves. And then Funky got mad, and it all ended up affecting Madison. And that's the thing. That's the biggest part. It's like I really wish I could just, call her and be like, girl, I know exactly what you feel, what you were feeling in that moment. You was tired. Like, I really want to just talk to her and be like, girl, look. And I, I may, because I can get in contact with a few people who can get in contact with her. I may just be like, can you tell her from me, or send a video like from Rambling K, look, love you. Something like that, because I love Madison, and that's why I'm here. Literally, that's why I have the majority of the subscribers I had. This time last year, I had just hit 100 subscribers. I'm at 3,000 because earlier in the year, last year actually, end of last year, I was talking about the Queen's Court, having a good time with everybody. I love Madison. And the whole thing just felt like it was an attack that ended up, like, the fallout being, it hurt Madison. And that bothered me the most. Anyway, girl, pray for Tamar, I guess, if that's in your heart to do. And I'll call y'all later for something else. Peace.